How's it going, everybody? Today we're gonna take a trip to my favorite website on the entire internet, and that is Reddit. I swear, when I can't find a good video to respond to, Reddit is always there for me with the absolutely horrible opinions. But if y'all think the previous videos I made on Redditors were crazy, wait until you see some of what these Redditors have to say. So there was a post on r/gaming that said, what are some unpopular opinions you have about gaming? And when you put unpopular opinion and Reddit together, it's a recipe for absolute disaster. But I think I've wasted enough time here. Let's get into Reddit's worst gaming opinions. Xbox controller is not designed for human. Okay, so this Redditor here thinks that the Xbox controller was actually not designed for humans. I mean, I have to ask this question though. If the Xbox controller is not designed for humans, who the fuck was it designed for? Like, dude, was that shit designed for chimpanzees or some shit? Never skip a cutscene. Ah, yes, I'm gonna tell you how you can or cannot enjoy your video game that you spent $60 for. What if I just want to play a game and I don't want to be interrupted by stupid cutscenes that I don't care about? I mean, there are some games out there where I do not care about the story. I am playing the game for the gameplay. And what about speedrunners? Should they also not be able to skip cutscenes? Like, you know, they might be playing through the game for the 99th time, but you know, never skip a cutscene. Like, yeah, I'll watch the cutscenes on my first playthrough most likely, but if I'm playing through the game for the third or fourth time, I don't want to see the cutscenes that I've already seen the previous 3 times. And for that reason, I think every single video game should have the option to skip cutscenes if people want to. From Software games suck. Just because it's hard doesn't make it good. Also, they use the same mechanics and everything for each game. Elden Ring is a terrible open world game. Nothing to do in it. I'm pretty sure even like one of the main developers came out and said the point of the game is not just to be difficult, but the difficulty is just one of the pieces of the bigger picture. You look at a boss fight like Radon, all the characters are hyping him up, and when you actually fight him, he's a difficult boss. It adds more to the game. Can you imagine all the characters hyped up the Radon boss fight, and when you actually got to his arena, he was just a little bitch? Single-player games are awful. They cater to the lowest ability gamers and allow them to feel accomplished so publishers can push sales. When people request them, they mean story-driven games. They just aren't aware of that. Every single-player game will be better with good co-op support. For example, imagine The Witcher 3 or Cyberpunk co-op, or being able to join your friends on the new Hogwarts game. Single player is legitimately for simps. That's right, any single player video game out there is just a story-driven game full of cutscenes, according to this guy. I mean, it's not like games like Doom and things like that exist, where the entire focus is gameplay. And apparently every single player video game out there would be better with co-op. I can think of a few examples where that wouldn't exactly be the case. Like, I'll list one off right now. Doom Eternal. Can you imagine how well that would play with 2 people? It just wouldn't be good, dude. Imagine you're about to glory kill a demon and then the other player just kills the enemy with a shotgun. Dude, that would suck. Or even the game I'm playing in the background right now, Ghostrunner. How well would that work with 2 people? It's a runner. Imagine you're trying to run through a level and then you have to wait for your teammate who was kicked in the head by a horse to catch up to you. Lack of difficulty settings. Everyone should be able to play your game. Okay, so should my grasshopper be able to beat it too? Should you literally just be in God mode so that the absolute biggest shitter on planet Earth can beat the game? Different games can be made for different groups of people. There are people out there who like challenging video games. What is the point in making a challenging video game if you're gonna add shitter mode where anyone can just complete it with no effort? And you know what, while we're at it, since anyone should be able to play any game, why don't we just add aimbot to multiplayer games? I mean, it makes it more accessible, right? I mean, it goes back to what I said earlier with Dark Souls and Elden Ring. If you added an easy mode or made the game non-challenging, all the characters would hype up Radon, and when you get to the boss fight, it would be like a wet fart. Prefer 30 FPS over 60. More cinematics makes graphics seem closer to a pre-rendered cutscene. It seems like you care more about the cutscenes than the actual video game, which I think is kind of wild. But there's also this crazy concept that a lot of games do. It's where the game will play in like 60 or 120 FPS, and then when it cuts to a cutscene, it gives you 30 FPS. Why wouldn't they just do that? But instead, nah, this guy would rather play on 30. I mean, if that's the case, why don't PC players limit their frame rate to 30? And I'll go ahead and answer that question for you. The higher the frame rate, the more information there is on the screen, which means more time for you to react, which means less input delay. I mean, it's just objectively better to play on 60 FPS rather than 30. I feel like this guy may or may not be playing on the Toastmatic 3000 PC that can only get 30 FPS, and that's why he's coping and saying it's better than 60. You should be able to save your game anywhere, anytime, for any reason, with no limitation on save slots. If there's any remaining space on your hard drive, any other save system is unacceptable. So, should you just be able to save in the middle of the final boss fight every single time you get a hit in, so there's basically no challenge to it? I mean, that's such a stupid argument. Games need more accessibility options, and that includes lower difficulties, yes, even Souls-like games. Not for people who think it's too hard, for people that have a disability that genuinely makes it hard for them to play games. Once again, I'm gonna use the Radahn example. All the characters hype up Radahn, you're on easy mode, you go into the boss arena, Radahn's a bitch. Also, I'm not even mentioning the fact that Souls games aren't entirely single player, so I mean, people would literally be just giving themselves unfair advantages. Not to mention the fact that this person is basically saying that people with disabilities are not talented enough to beat the game. Like, that's kind of insulting, man. There are no good Super Mario games. Platformers in general are just terrible. And the guy below him says, Elden Ring sucks. I mean, do these guys have a source for this?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
I mean, these guys are literally saying, it's bad because I say so. Mobile will be better than PC in the future.
You serious?
I mean, if we're gonna be real here, how is mobile gonna be better than PC in the future? Every single video game is designed on the PC and then ported. Also, what's it going to be better at? Giving you microtransactions to close out of? Is it going to be better at raising your blood pressure? Also, due to the size limitation of the phone, it will never be able to be as powerful as a giant PC. Microtransactions and loot boxes aren't inherently bad, and prohibition isn't the answer. I think it's debatable. New Vegas is the worst Fallout. I mean, that's just incorrect. I'm not even going to explain why. You're just wrong. Your opinion's wrong. Rockstar hasn't made a good game since GTA 2. I mean, once again, just wrong. Wrong. Politics belong in all creative media, even games. Yeah, you know, video games that we play to escape reality, let's just have reality rammed right into the fucking games as well. Awesome, dude. Souls-like games are nothing but digitalized Stockholm Syndrome. Sounds like somebody couldn't beat the Asylum Demon. No company is ever in it for the art or respects their consumers. His source is I pulled it out of my ass. And I don't even know what the hell he's trying to say in his last one. If you use add-ons, you are playing on easy mode. Once again, source straight out of his asshole. But the thing is, there are add-ons out there that just give you different weapon camos, or the Left 4 Dead 2 add-on that I use that puts the Fall Guys characters in the game. There's also add-ons out there that make the games harder, but apparently, according to this Redditor, it automatically means you're playing on easy mode if you use an add-on. Great logic, dude. 30 FPS isn't bad. Okay, so I think you should clarify a bit more. What type of game are you talking about where 30 FPS isn't bad? Because 30 FPS in a card game, in an open world game, and in a first-person shooter are going to be three completely different experiences. 30 FPS in a card game is completely fine. Honestly, you could probably get by with 15 FPS in like a game of Solitaire or Minesweeper. But you take a look at an open world game, 30 FPS, I think it's still doable. Like, it's okay, it'll run fine. But you look at a first-person shooter in 30 FPS, the aiming is kinda difficult to do. There's quite a decent bit of input delay, and it's definitely noticeable. Also, when we're in the what generation of consoles right now? Consoles that are marketed as 120 FPS consoles, we should not be getting 30 FPS games. Up your standards. The only way I can accept, really, a 30 FPS game is either the graphics are something out of this world, just unbelievable, or it's like a Nintendo Switch game or phone game. Consoles have went from being useful to being a scam for people too lazy/clueless to hook up a joystick to their PC. Yeah, this is a really stupid post, because not everyone has the money to drop on a PC. Also, the price to performance that you're gonna get with a console is much better than you'll get with a PC. You're not gonna get a PC with the power around that of an Xbox Series S or X or a PS5 for only $500. Wanting an easy mode on games isn't bad. A lot of us have really busy lives and want to enjoy a game because the gameplay is cool, but don't have the time to fight a boss multiple times. Not having one serves no purpose besides gatekeeping and elitism. Or, the game is created for an audience that enjoys challenging video games, and adding an easy mode would defeat the entire purpose. Whoa, crazy. I think physical games should be made illegal. Waste of resources and plastic. Yes, you owning a physical copy of your favorite media form should be illegal because I say so. Also, with recent events with Ubisoft where they revoke your access to certain games if you don't log in a certain amount of time, I think physical games are needed now more than ever. Also, what about those without internet access? Should they just not be able to play video games anymore because of the tiny amount of plastic that is used on making the games? Like, that is such an idiotic statement. How much do you want to bet this person only holds this opinion for video games and not other forms of media? Like, do you think they're against physical movies instead of just downloading them? Do you think they're against physical music and albums? Do you think they're against physical books? Because I'd have to bet no. The elitism and snobbery from fans of From Software Souls games is infuriating. I don't like to play hard games. I'm in my 30s and have limited times to properly enjoy a game. I want an escapist fantasy that helps me relax, not an aneurysm. Being told to get good and learn the patterns pisses me off. So your attitude here is a little something I like to call entitled. It's where you go into a genre of a video game that isn't for you and demand that the game be changed for your liking. You said you don't like to play hard video games, so I have a solution for you. Do not play hard video games. Also, the From Software fans are the snobby ones, but you're the one who gets pissed off over being told that you have to learn how to play a video game? Like, who would have fucking thought, dude? Like, if you don't like hard video games because you have to learn patterns and things like that, that's fine. Go play something else. Don't come into the genre where we all like the challenge and then start fucking complaining that it's too hard for you. This is the thing I don't get about people who shit talk the Souls games. They come in, they talk shit about the game, and then they're surprised when fans of that game get mad at them and tell them to learn the patterns or to get good at the game. Like, no shit, you came into the game insulting it. It being video games, should be considered by the government as a drug generator. It's a waste of true lifetime, no matter the game. Yes, video games are a complete waste of time because this person never heard of fun, or the countless people who make money playing them. Also, how is your post not a waste of time if playing video games is? You're literally bitching on Reddit. Also, if I stay on Reddit any longer to read off any more of these posts, I'm gonna have a stroke, so I'm out of here. Make sure to join the Discord link down below, and yeah, peace.